Hello there from Auckland, New Zealand, and this is my kitchen table and my trusty computer that I do lots of medical research and video editing on. I don't use this table for eating, it's my work area because I have a wonderful environment here where the sun shines in, and so I can sit here and enjoy the light and the warmth. We've had now just over a week of lockdown around the world, lockdown and isolation, apart from some countries like Sweden. But in New Zealand, started just over a week ago, and so I've put together a video that shows a whole lot of really neat things that have been happening around New Zealand and in Auckland. And it starts out with the day that we were notified that we were going to have lockdown. I was out with my two granddaughters, Isabella and Everly, and we heard that there was going to be a lockdown happening for a month. And so we went to the supermarket and had a little bit of fun there. And then you'll see a video that I've made. Now, I found on the web somebody else had written some words to the Sound of Silence song. And so I've added to it by putting a whole lot of pictures and making a music video out of it. So that's quite entertaining. And a lot of the other things you'll see are just videos from people's homes and people's lockdown areas all around New Zealand doing amazing things. Some of these videos that I've put together that have been on the news each night are just amazing, the sort of things that New Zealanders are getting up to. So watch this video when you've got a bit of time to spare. It's reasonably long, but it's packed full of fun things happening and just a big wrap-up of so many neat things that will bring you a laugh and bring a smile to your face, plus a few little serious bits as well. Oh, right, okay. First I'll have to do this here. Oh, these are empty as well. The frozen veg are all gone.
Can I talk now?
Yep. What do you want to say?
We've got a lot of stuff. We got some blueberries. We got an apple. We got some apples. We've got coconut milk. And we've got a pineapple. And Evie's got a little orange. Bye. 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 This is the nappy sticks. They're nearly all gone.
Why are they all gone?
Because we're actually self-isolated with my sister.
All the soap's gone as well, look.
Hello.
All the soap's gone.
But there are different ways of handling it. Some will handle it in a nasty way, some will handle it in a nice way. Do we have this audio? Huh? Let me play an audio for you. There are different ways of handling an infection.
Hello virus from Wuhan, another problem's here again. Because you see the contagion creeping, and the virus is indeed spreading, and the memory of SARS planted in my brain still remains. We stand and fight the virus. We hear of theories how it grew, from snakes and bats became a flu, passing the sickness from man to man. Now it's growing, getting out of hand. It's a virus that has traveled near and far. Corona, we have to fight the virus. And in the latest news I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People falling sick with much coughing, people falling ill with much sneezing, people worried for their health and their one so dear, pneumonia. We keep the fight, the virus Keep your hands clean, always know. Hygiene will stop that virus grow. When you sneeze, cover with a tissue. Even coughing, just let me teach you. Wear a mask if you're sick so that others won't get it too. We count on you to help to fight the virus. Together we must overcome. To beat this virus, fight as one. For a life of health and harmony. It's in our hands, it's up to you and me. For the health of our land, of our friends and family, humanity, we will win this fight, the virus.
Medical staff in Spain have been applauding a patient. They lined up clapping and chanting as the first of their COVID-19 patients was transferred out of intensive care and into a general ward.
From around Aotearoa, start off with this one. It's a long shot from a unicycle made by Louise in North Canterbury. Boom! Trick shot into a toilet paper roll on a bin from Andrea in Cambridge. Nailed it!
Yes, Andrea.
Time for a lob into a pint glass. Thank you, Philip. From Auckland, and lastly, Flynn from Dunedin, off the bin lid into another bin. That is a thing of beauty.
Religious gatherings have been suspended in some countries and people have been urged to get creative in how they practice their faith. In the American city of Bowie in Maryland, one parish priest organised full confessions to be heard via drive-through. Well, take-up was slow to begin with. Parishioners are now lining up to have their sins absolved. This, priests wear blindfolds, and if they fancy a face-to-face, that's fine too.
Spin on the classic Love Actually routine last week. The former WBO champions now led an ensemble of musical and sporting icons in this latest lockdown clip, including a few famous Kiwis.
Let's go!
Why do you do me a little buttercup, baby, just to let me down? Let me around and it works, come on, you never thought, baby, when you see you will say, but I love you still, I need you more than anyone, darling. You know that I am from the start. So build me a little buttercup, don't break my heart.
Here's an interesting one that I came across. The McDonald's is not considered to be an essential service, but the liquor store is.
Health organisation today sending a strong message to younger people to take the virus seriously.
I have a message for young people. You're not invincible. This virus could put you in hospital for weeks or even kill you. Even if you don't get sick, the choices you make about where you go could be the difference between life and death for someone else.
Kia ora, good evening, and if you're just joining us, brace for level 4. The Prime Minister put the country at level 3 at lunchtime and warning the full lockdown of level 4 will be firmly in place by Wednesday, and that's for the next 4 weeks. By then, all schools must be closed. Many already have, and yes, that includes for the children of essential worker families. They have just 48 hours grace, then they're in lockdown like the rest of us. Bars, cinemas, you name it, all public venues closed nationwide, and transport severely limited. The trigger was community transmission of the virus. The Health Ministry now accepts that it is happening. 36 more cases of the virus today, taking the total past 100. The alternative, to use the Prime Minister's own words, was that tens of thousands of New Zealanders died. Political editor Tova O'Brien begins our coverage.
Few will have heard a message so sobering from their Prime Minister in their lifetime.
The worst case scenario is simply intolerable. It would represent the greatest loss of New Zealanders' lives in our history, and I will not take that chance.
Coronavirus cannot go unchecked.
Tens of thousands of New Zealanders will die.
The Prime Minister drawing on the devastation faced in Italy.
We currently have 102 cases, but so did Italy once.
It now has nearly 60,000 cases, more than 5,000 dead. So desperate times calling for the most desperate of measures. In 48 hours, the country moves into near total lockdown for 4 weeks.
These decisions will place the most significant restrictions on New Zealanders' movements in modern history. 11:59 p.m. tonight, we move to the highest alert level 4, and we as a nation go into self-isolation.
The Prime Minister was not mincing her words about the magnitude of what was occurring.
The restrictions in place on New Zealanders' movements are the most significant in our modern history. This is a devastating time that I hope no New Zealander will ever have to experience again in the future, and these are some of the devastating consequences.
Who are playing the game. I know that there are drinks all around New Zealand, people at the end of their driveways socialising from a safe distance, like Nicole and Brian and Ngahinapori. Look at this. They are on opposite sides of the road from their neighbours, but they're getting some socialisation, some physical social, what's it called?
Hanging out.
Yeah,
First, this is the Norfolk family. Ooh, cool, there's 2 Norfolk pines. Up into the lampshade, off the book, and into the bag! And we've got Lorna from Auckland at a young 73 years young.
A sharp increase in family harm episodes right across the country and here in Masterton.
Let's see who did win. In third place, winning
last 2 or 3 days.
is
Since
Dylan Randall
the
from
beginning of the
Auckland.
lockdown, and police can't stress enough that no matter what's going on in your life and how difficult situations are in the home environment, to just be kind to another, look out for each other, and let's ride this out as a country.
What?
Lonely, why don't you say so?
Yes!
Your punches are rolling! You can't say about this! You wanna say so?
It's going to be a fun 4 weeks in that bubble.
Lockdown going to continue. Do you have current modelling which says that it might be extended?
It will all depend on the compliance of New Zealanders. And we'll have a good idea as we go through the lockdown. I've continued to just warn New Zealanders, don't be disheartened when you continue to see our numbers increase. I expect that we will have a number of cases and that those cases will grow steeply because of the lag with COVID. People who have it today, we won't know about for several days' time. So you will see those numbers come up. Then we hope to see them, of course, come away, and that will be an indication to us of how well we're tracking.
And what compliance level do we need, and what compliance level are we at? Do you have any idea? High. 80%, 90%?
It needs to be high. It needs to be high. We just can't tolerate anyone flouting the rules because when someone does that, that's one more chain in transmission, and it means all of us could end up in lockdown for longer.
Okay, so now we are all about to be in self-isolation, so how do we know if we're doing it right? Well, the word we all need to remember is bubble. You form a bubble, usually with your family or your flatmates, whoever you share your home with. Now, if one of you is sick, that person should self-isolate even further, mainly keeping to their room. That household bubble is the only direct social contact that you're allowed. So no going to visit friends and family and no visitors, and you stay in that bubble for the next month.
Has told us to stay in our bubbles, and the countdown to that lockdown is ahead of us. But we want to know just what is your bubble. We want to talk about that a little bit more. Who can come into your bubble? Who can't? So trying to lay it out in simple terms for you is Lucas de Jong.
Who doesn't love bubbles? Well, hopefully everyone does, because Kiwis are about to spend their next month in theirs. While a one-person bubble is best, that's not always practical. So here are some questions our team has come across.
My family's a great bubble.
Because we're not actually a family. Can you like give me 2 metres?
Sorry. But can I join our bubble with another neighbour's or maybe family member's bubble to help with childcare and entertainment?
The Ministry of Health recommends
your bubble needs to be exclusive to those who are in it. Bubbles can't mingle with each other, otherwise the virus has more of a chance to spread. Rather than a bubble with your neighbours or family members, we suggest a good old-fashioned phone tree to stay in contact.
I'm only a couple of months into a new relationship and not ready to move in together. Can I go from my flat's bubble to my partner's flat's bubble?
Simply no.
You have to choose who you are in a bubble with carefully, as you need to stick with them and only them for the whole time we are in alert level 4. From 11:59 p.m. tonight, you cannot travel between bubbles.
If going for a walk's all good, can I leave my bubble to go for a bike or a tramp or a hunt with someone as long as we stay apart?
The Ministry's advice?
We need people to stay at home unless they have a reason to be out, like accessing essential services or going for a walk on your own or with people in your isolation bubble. Do not meet people who are not in your household for the activity.
I'm an essential worker and I need to leave my bubble every day. Do I need to make my own bubble once I get home?
Here's the official word.
They should be keeping a distance from others in your house when they get home, but they are still in your household bubble. If they or anyone else in your bubble gets sick, they need to self-isolate and be in a bubble within a bubble.
As a split family with shared custody, is it alright for our kids to move from one bubble to another?
Children in the same towns or cities can move between homes if it does not compromise the health of their families, but should not move between homes if they or someone else in the bubble is unwell, has been overseas, or has been identified as a close contact of someone who may have COVID-19.
In the end, the more bubbles, the better. And if you don't absolutely have to leave yours,
don't! But what's a bit of fun for most is another day of serious work for 7 Sharp investigative reporter Laura Daniel.
Bears. They're fuzzy, they're wuzzy, and they're popping up all over New Zealand. In our homes, in our Prime Minister's residence, and even on our once sacred farms. Why? It's all for the Great New Zealand Bear Hunt, part of a worldwide social distancing scavenger hunt aimed at brightening little spirits in dark times. And as New Zealand's foremost hunting expert, just ask any Easter egg, I was determined to be the best at it.
What's the knife for?
We're going bear hunting. Bears are dangerous.
Do you ever know what this is?
Bear hunting. To fully understand it, I caught up with the Great New Zealand Bear Hunt's Facebook administrator, Debbie Hoffman.
We are encouraging people to put a soft toy or a teddy bear in their window so that people can go out for a walk and exercise, which we're permitted to do, and find their teddy bears while they're out there.
And just to clarify, these are teddy bears, not real bears. And how old do you have to be to partake in this?
It's kids from all ages are enjoying this.
So to be the best at this, you need to have very good counting ability.
I think so. I think let's just call it Maths 101.
I dropped math in 5th form, but
Maybe you're right, don't stress. It's all good.
Okay.
So,
can it be a piglet?
Absolutely.
Llama corn?
Llama corn's accepted.
What about this weird cat thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are these all yours, Laura?
Yes, okay. So what should I do when I am going out looking for bears?
Just under and do. Our Prime Minister has endorsed this, but we've got to follow the rules.
The rules are simple. Put a bear in your window. If you don't have a window, try a letterbox or shove it through a hedge. If you don't have a bear, you could try a bear. Only look for bears when you're out on a regular walk or going for essential supplies. And only with people from your bubble, such as mum or dad.
I don't actually need to take my parents because, don't want to brag, I'm actually 21.
Are you 29?
Don't enter people's properties to get a closer look at the bears. There are strict rules about that due to alert level 4. And also, you shouldn't enter people's properties anyway. That's weird.
The bears are in that window.
then why have you been out there for an hour?
If you need help finding the bears, this interactive map found at bearhunt.co.nz has locations of all the known bears in your neighbourhood. There are 47 bears within a 1 kilometre radius of my house, and I will hunt them all. But only when I'm out on my daily walk or on a trip for essential supplies.
Okay, I've counted that one. You can take it down. I'm not taking it down. It's for kids to look at. Yeah, well, I saw it first, so. Well, how old are you? 21. Get out of here! Stay away from my bubble!
And remember, don't go actively looking for bears outside of your neighbourhood. This is about brightening spirits and having fun. It's not actually a competition. But if it was, I would win.
That's a great head she's got there. It makes me smile seeing those bears in everybody's windows.
I'll try not to cough on you, because it's pretty bad at the moment.
Janine has not needed the toilet paper. She's not eating anything.
As they got worse, she made the decision to get help.
Well, hello from isolation ward at North Shore Hospital.
Her isolation means she's done everything right.
Look after your loved ones and stop panic buying toilet paper.
But her recovery's still got a long way to go.
And Janine Crossan is with us from a camper van outside her home. She's joining us live. Janine, you've just, oh, it's so lovely to see you there. She's just returned from hospital by ambulance. How are you feeling?
Much better than I was, thanks. Yeah, much better. Hopefully a couple more days of good sleep and 14 more days of quarantine.
Yeah, just to be sure. The DHB gave you a gold star for containment, I hear. What would you say to other Kiwis who might be showing signs of the virus?
So I guess things you have to persevere, try and make calls in the middle of the night if you can. It's when I managed to make my calls, and look, if you are at that point where you're really struggling to breathe, call 111, don't be afraid to do so. No.
Been doing it for a whole 2 days now and considers herself New Zealand's foremost expert. The Prime Minister has told us to stay in our bubbles, and the countdown to that lockdown is ahead of us. But we want to know just what is your bubble. We want to talk about advice and treat your home like your bubble. You can make it hard. So trying to lay it out in simple terms for you.
Instead of lounging around in your PJs all day, start by dressing for work. Keeping up your routine is important. If you walk to the office normally, try walking around the block and then straight back home. If you cycle around the block and then straight back home. If you're an Aucklander who normally drives to work, you can start your day by sitting in your car for an hour and not moving.
2 minutes. Come on, I'm going to be late.
But can I join our bubble with another neighbour or maybe family member's bubble to help with childcare
and if you take public transport, why not try this?
Your bubble needs to be exclusive to those who are in it. Bubbles can't mingle with each other, otherwise the virus has more of a chance to spread. Rather than a bubble with your neighbours or family members, we suggest a good old-fashioned phone tree to stay in contact.
Things you'd normally do at the office, like making small talk with your colleagues at the water cooler. Can I go from my flat's bubble to my partner's because we're both have been there for like
No, you have to choose who you are in a bubble with carefully, as you need to stick with them and only them for the whole time. We are in alert level 4. From 11:59 p.m. tonight, you cannot travel between bubbles.
Going for a walk's all good. We're trying desperately to get the printer to work. I've tried everything. It's just not working.
We need people to stay at home unless they have a reason to be out, like accessing essential services or going for a walk on your own or with people in your isolation bubble. Do not meet people who are not in your household for the activity.
Just make sure you don't feed it all the way through.
I need to leave my bubble every day. Do I need to make my
ever feel lonely, your colleagues suggest a FaceTime call away, so you can keep up your passive-aggressive reminders.
Distance from others in your house when they get home, but they are still in your household bubble. If they or anyone else in your bubble gets sick, they need to self-isolate and be in a bubble within a bubble.
As a split family with shared custody, is it alright for our kids to move from one bubble to another?
Children in the same town or city can move between homes if it does not compromise the health of their families.
Having no one around doesn't mean you still can't have
overly long meetings without
absolutely nothing.
has been overseas or has been close contact of someone who may have COVID-19.
In the end, the more bubbles, the better. And if you don't absolutely have to leave yours...
Don't forget, you've always got Friday drinks.
They've all hung up, okay. Look, all this stuff, it might not work for you, and that's fine. And whilst there's heaps of expert opinions out there about how you should work from home, there isn't much out there about how you should do it during a pandemic, because this has never happened before. So we're all just got to kind of figure it out together and just really do our best. And you, Pineapple, you've got to stop giving me the eyes. We've talked about this.
Oh, some good advice, as always, from Laura there. Now to one of my favourite workers from home, Jeremy. What are the pitfalls, do you reckon, of setting up a home office?
Well, actually, so far, I was quite worried about how my kids might be sort of getting in the way and getting in the back of shop and doing all that sort of stuff. But luckily, up until now, they've been amazing. They've done exactly what they're meant to do. They sort of stayed in a room behind me and they haven't come out. So it's been absolutely fantastic. They've really behaved exactly like they haven't ruined the shot or dropped the plane.
No, that's great. That's really cool.
Really good, actually.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. You've got 2 stars in the making there. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Lovely to talk to you. We will talk to you tomorrow. Those were our people today. That was 7 sharp tonight. Just remember, everyone's going to find it hard to stay at home for a month. Really hard. It's going to be tough, but every day you stay at home and away from other people is a possible life saved.
Good, I'll tell. Now, during the COVID-19 lockdown, a lot of you younger dudes will no doubt be furiously texting, messaging and staying connected with Ding Dong, TikTok and Insta-Tweetface and all those other silly apps that you lot seem to be into. But quite a few older folk don't usually get into all that. These are telephones. They've got actual buttons. Some of them even have dials. Now, you can contact one of these with any smartphone simply by dialing the landline number of an older loved one or even a neighbour. You'll find these people often enjoy a chinwag, a yarn, or a good old natter.
A lot of time on their hands, like this woman who's managed to teach her cat to do the East Coast wave.
Papers.
I love it. Yeah, cat owners all over New Zealand are going to spend the next 3 days trying to achieve that. It's great. I hope my cat learns that I get scratched every time we shake hands. So. But my favourite for the day is this man who went crazy and used his kitchen to recreate the iconic drum solo from Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. Enjoy. His family went mad while he was practising, no doubt, but I can tell you one thing for sure, he wasn't born in a tent.
When you're stuck in your little bubble and you're an athlete needing to train, well, you enlist all members of the family to help, obviously. Thankfully, Olympic shot putter Tom Walsh didn't decide to throw his beloved golden retriever, just use him for squats, while it was the Cane and Canine show in the Williamson backyard. Although I'm guessing it was the missing Mrs. Williamson with the bowl that made them look good, while kayaker Luca Jones had an excellent workout while cooped up with her chooks. Pretty good, eh?
Is the isolation game. Yeah, the Olympics may be postponed, not these ones though. Our current event is dressage, where you and a bubble buddy saddle up to perform what the equine community considers the highest expression of horse training. The prize for the best video is a year's supply of free Pizza Hut for your family. Here are a few of the most horse-powerful entries we've received so far. First up is Amalia and Jack from Canterbury.
Oh, wow.
Working out which one is supposed to be the horse. Can't touch this. Good advice in these viral times. Next up, Amelia from Christchurch with her own commentary.
To do their half pass, look at those crossing over strides.
Great commentator.
So really spot, yes it is. Oh my goodness, what a great routine so far.
So the rest was great too, just very long. Finally, we have Auckland's Russell family. Let's have a look at them. Whoa! They've got a lot of things. How do you think you went, guys? 10 from you.
Also 10 from me.
Let's see. Wow. Those are just a handful of the entries we have received so far. Not too late to enter. Tomorrow, I will will announce the medal winners, so send us your dressage to win that year's supply of free Pizza Hut for your family. But in Vegas, where this dad has found a unique way to keep the kids occupied. Can't go wakeboarding, of course. Why not use the digger?
Yeah.
That is definitely not going to destroy the lawn. You'll be fine with that. Also, doubles as the swing. Whole family involved. Only turns pear-shaped when you fling one over the fence. And then, of course, they're in the neighbour's bubble. Their problem now. Next up, being in lockdown with a DJ can be pretty annoying. Luckily, this one is very cute. Check it out. He is going hard. His crowd is loving it. Yeah. I love a bit of pop step. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think that's Ministry Hound, actually. And finally, if you need to put a bit of excitement into your home life, all you need is a video of a roller coaster and a corkscrew. Here we go. There's your corkscrew, video of the roller coaster in the background. Up, up, and away. Check it out. I do wonder how much use that bottle opener got before that was filmed.
Enforced physical distancing is causing families to come up with some creative ways to celebrate birthdays. News Hub attended 2 special birthday celebrations over the weekend, keeping a safe distance, of course, to see how you can ensure that even ISO celebrations are unforgettable. Ollie Curran reports.
Happy birthday, dear Lucy.
Lucy Green reaching a significant milestone, 5 years old. It isn't the birthday party Lucy had been dreaming of, coronavirus turning her little world upside down.
Bringing up from preschool and basically telling her, oh, by the way, this is your last day, wasn't easy. And then just knowing that all hopes of any kind of birthday gathering wasn't going to happen, it was quite emotional as a mother.
So instead, her bubble of 4 are doing their best.
Who wants a big piece of cake?
To celebrate Lucy.
She's got past the parcel, she's got about 2 of those. She definitely wants to do musical statues and musical chairs, and yeah, it's going to be a great time.
In Dunedin, 7-year-old Gabby is also having a strange birthday.
Playing games with those who you care about the most.
No bouncers.
Cool. No bouncers, mum. Silly mum. Come on, guys. Essential driving only.
Tonight, the best entry sent to us by you will win a year's supply of free Pizza Hut for their family, or just for themselves. The ox of ours have been set very high. That's a bit of equine lingo for you there, if you didn't understand it.
Okay.
Competition has been tight. Let's have a look at this. Is Amelia from Christchurch. Points for the enthusiasm, Amelia. Points off for not having a horse. Next up, Chef from the Bay of Plenty with this R&B inspired number. It's got the backup dancers and everything. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Well choreographed.
I love that.
Yeah, they were very good, but enough horsing around. It is time for me to pony up and announce the winners. Let's go to 3rd place, shall we, in the Manawatu. Going solo to a bit of Queen here. Enjoy. Nice little spin there, and off she goes. In 2nd place is Cherie from Auckland with this tactastic routine. A lot of great horsing, a lot of great choreography, and in 1st place, winning a year's supply of free Pizza Hut for the family, Amelia French from Christchurch with this picture-perfect routine and a great ending.
My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, this must be a world record. That horse deserves that sugar cube.
You do deserve that sugar cube, and of course, the gold medal for equestrian in our isolation Olympics.
Well done.
And finally, a lot of people are thinking, when I grow up, I want to be just like that Jacinda Ardern. Well, comedian and friend of the project, Melanie Bracewell, has done a pretty good job. Check this out. A few people mentioned she could look like Jacinda, so get the cheekbones just right, a bit of lippy, and chuck on a jacket.
Wow.
Panic bought that before the lockdown. And look at this. That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
That's so good.
I think it's quite inspiring, actually. I was thinking maybe I should try, like, George Clooney. We don't stop there, Jessie. There's more because I know you demanded it. I can now announce the next event in the Isolation Games. Drum roll, please. Couldn't afford one. It's ping pong. Ping pong. We want to see what you can do that somehow relates to ping pong. I'm talking long shots into cups, balls racing down tracks, juggling, magic, even imaginary games like this. Increased Derby, playing an epic game with none other than our own Josh Thompson.
Derby!
That's really good.
Really good. No ball. Don't need a ball. Derby victorious. And this is our boss. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Nice speech. This is our boss, John Bridges. He got that shot in, and that only took an hour of company time.
Swiss bloke put out his home video. A New Zealand tennis star from the 1990s, James Greenhalgh, was breaking out some of his old moves for his daughter. Wonder why these ball schools are so slick? Well, it's the New Zealand under-17 women's football team getting into the spirit of things. Bobsledder Will Guest had to skip a push training camp in New York, improvising in his backyard instead. Number 1 ranked speed golfer Jamie Reid dropped his pace a tad as he transformed his lounge into a trick shot paradise. 15-year-old Max Way didn't get to compete at the National Canoe Slalom events, so negotiated the Papamoa Street Rapids instead. Here's a copycat Kane Williamson video, all the way from the Hailsham Cricket Club in Sussex. And around the provinces now. Nothing like water skiing without the aqua. Big swinging ages from Clyde Smith at Waihi Beach to 2-year-old Ayla Tai working the bags in Taranaki. Jousting, quad v ride on mower from Onga Onga. Where? And I couldn't resist a bit of toilet humour. Finally the butt of a few southern barbs over the years, King Carlos Spencer, showing he still reigns, even in the Waikato.
Oh! You're not going to believe it! But that was shot too!
Stephen Stewart, One News.
Pretty sure that was kosher.
The most affected age range by COVID-19 in New Zealand is far and away, currently, 20 to 29-year-olds. They are our vector for transmission. They're the ones who then pass it on. 205 of our nearly 800 total cases are in this age range, a fact health experts hope young people are waking up to.
Yes, current event is basketball. Throw a screwed up piece of paper into a bin in the best way possible, fill it, and send it to us to win a prize. And I'm going to tell you about that prize shortly. Here are a few more we've received. First, let's go to Travis in New Plymouth, the flipboard, flipping good stuff. Over to Jen in Auckland using the familiar backboard of me. Here's another half from Christchurch with a softball pitch technique, very nice. Now Kelly from Canterbury with the cricket bat, into the drinking vessel, and I believe it means you need to finish it. Finally, Lauren from New Plymouth from the couch, nailed it on the bounce. Isn't she happy?
We have a project, I can do it.
Yes, that's right, Lauren. You can do it. Like this couple.
That is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Great, isn't it? Yeah. And has had millions of views. Most of them have been John Key.
With public venues and their HQ out of bounds, frolics in the family pool have been replaced by gut-busting bungee sessions. And that means some extra work for dads like Paul Kenny, who's taking no credit for son Sam's concept.
Pretty much did it themselves, got ready to go, dragged me in, almost dragged me in literally on the first go because I didn't realise how powerful he was.
So this is like really short, fast intensity to get the heart rate going, which is something that we don't do that often because it's maybe not our main focus, so it's definitely good to switch it up. Yeah.
Good for strength building.
Yeah.
And whether you're tied to your dad, tied to the edge, tied to the hedge, or tied to the fence, Lucy knows her coach at least is watching every move.
She wants a video daily and a text daily of different things that we've done, how we're feeling, and yeah, it might drive you a bit insane, but hopefully just can keep going.
And just where will that coach be watching from? Well, here. Sandra Burrow, world record surf lifesaver, on her balcony, where unfortunately she does not have a pool. But in stressful times like these, you just gotta breathe. Scotty Stevenson, One News.
That is so good. From the Waikato Farmyard Fairway to the stairway. chipping from the grass and off the glass. When you're locked down for the long haul.
Oh yeah, there it is! Oh, hole in one in the trough! Awesome!
It's as good a time as any to work on your short game. The Mink boys doing their bit in the backyard to uphold Queenstown's adventure capital reputation. While this PE teacher isn't doing his any harm. No shortage of loo paper or tricks here. And quiet, please. You can't fault this countryside court. No pool, no problem for Emerson, training for the Phoenix Southland Synchro Club in Invercargill. And what about when you get a kayak for your 4th birthday? Well, Mia Mackenzie Bridge may have just found a way to make sure water sports stay afloat.
Looking for silver linings, and we've found a ton more of those tonight. Your hunger for lockdown sporting videos has gone berserk. We're trying to air as many as we can. Now, don't complain to me if your golf trick shot doesn't make the cut. Complain to this man, Matt Manukia.
Hi, Sav. Yeah, we're at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Let's see the highlights.
Looking forward to your coverage when the Olympics finally do kick off, Hunter. Olympic kayaker Kayla Imrie is certainly excited with an adjusted training plan hitting the road. Sort of. Sevens gold could be on the cards for Kurt Baker with restarts like these. Yeah! And Trish Cullen sent this one in. You may know her son, Christian.
Sub 2, bro, sub 2.
We also have this from Black Cat Lockie Ferguson. Alright, now move over, superstars, because 73-year-old Dennis from Whangarei has been getting really creative. Good on you, mate. Just anything to get an extra boost during a tense time. The word boredom has been used quite a bit, but why not enjoy the ride? Whatever it is you have to ride on. You could say we've all been a little shaken up by this whole thing, although we've started doing more things together.
H. B.
And using technology when we can't.
G.
It doesn't always go according to plan.
Jesus.
But when it does... Here's to the weekend, and we can't wait to see what you've got next. Remember, onesport@tvnz.co.nz.
It's going to be another big day tomorrow. Back to you in the studio, Sav.
It's a wonderful time during this lockdown period to examine your lifestyle, to think about what you're eating, to think about what you're letting into your home, what sort of toxins are in your environment. What would happen if you picked up the bug from a surface somewhere and it came into your body? Would you get terribly sick? The whole world needs to consider why so many people are being affected by this bug. What's going wrong in the world in terms of our health, the things that we're doing in our life, the disharmony that many people have with nature. How can we get back in harmony with nature? How can we be doing the things that keep us very healthy so that when something like this hits, that not so many of us get hit down with it?